It is an honor to address this distinguished gathering of policymakers, university leaders, development partners, and key stakeholders at this high-level forum celebrating the 10th anniversary of the African Higher Education Centers of Excellence, the ACE. Your presence here affirms your conviction of the power of research for global transformation and a commitment to higher education and innovation in Africa. Reflecting on the past decade, it's been an incredible and remarkable journey, and indeed a decade of impact, innovation, and excellence. And I would like to thank the organizers for the opportunity to share some perspectives on the vision for higher education for Africa and the journey so far, 10 years of ACE. In the next few minutes, I would like us all to reflect on a decade of the establishment of the African Centers of Excellence, and more importantly, strategize for a more impactful decade ahead. Now, setting the context, why was the establishment of the African Centers of Excellence necessary? A decade ago, African governments, together with leaders of higher education on the continent, identified that the region was faced with a critical gap. Limited access to high-quality postgraduate education, underinvestment in research, poor linkages between universities, industries, and communities, imported solutions to address Africa's challenges. It was against this background that the bold and visionary idea of the establishment of the African Centers of Excellence emerged. The focus was on nurturing centers of excellence in specialized fields that could transform African countries' ability to address local challenges and contribute to global scientific and technological advancement. The idea appeared simple, yet profound. The intention was to create institutions that will serve as beacons of innovation, collaboration, and knowledge transfer, harnessing the immense potential of Africa's intellectual capital. To develop African-grown solutions by African scientists to address Africa's development challenges, and support advanced studies in science, technology, and mathematics-related disciplines as a critical aspect of Africa's economic transformation. Launched in 2014, the ACE initiative is a collaborative effort by African governments, supported by the World Bank and other funding institutions, with a conviction that Africa can and must drive global development. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today, it is evident that the ACE project is a working model which is achieving strong results on the ground and supporting Africa's jobs and economic transformation agenda. Now, where are we now? We can see on the map where we are. We have more than 80 Africa Centers of Excellence in over 50 participating universities with a presence in 20 countries. Now, what have we achieved and what impact have we made over the past decade? We can talk about postgraduate expansion in critical fields. The ACE has enrolled over 90,000 students across Africa, including close to 8,000 PhDs and over 30,000 masters. We've heard about the increase in female researchers and scientists. So currently about a third, that's 32% of all students enrolled at ACEs are female, as a result of a deliberate attempt to increase female enrollment. And we've been benchmarking globally. 130 programs have obtained international accreditation, including programs in poultry science, crop seed science and technology, molecular cell biology of infectious diseases, and water supply and treatment technology. We can also talk about improved linkages with industries and communities. There exist stronger collaborations among the centers, industries, and communities. The teaching and learning environment has improved. Infrastructural facilities, including laboratories and teaching and learning equipment and technologies in host institutions, have been upgraded to world-class standards. And we can also mention cross-border collaboration. A key aspect of the ACEs is partnership and collaboration within the region and globally, fostering greater impact. And I think that it is significant that this program has allowed for more collaboration among African institutions. We can also talk about the development impacts. So beyond statistics, the ACEs have directly improved people's lives, developing solutions and innovations that are tailored to Africa's and global challenges. So mentioning a few of these, in Ghana and Nigeria, genomics researchers played a key role in sequencing the COVID-19 and Ebola genomes, contributing to global efforts to combat these pandemics. In Ghana and Kenya, agricultural biotechnology breakthroughs have led to the development of improved seeds, enhancing food security and the resilience of agricultural systems to environmental challenges. And Senegal, cutting-edge medical training programs now enable complex surgeries, reducing reliance on overseas treatments and improving access to specialized care. In Nigeria, Senegal, and Rwanda, the integration of artificial intelligence is preparing a new generation of professionals for the jobs of the future. In Tanzania, they've developed a digital surveillance tool that allows health workers and others to serve as disease detectives. And in Kenya, the incubation center at Moi University has successfully commercialized economic ways to generate energy and produce building materials from waste products. Honorable ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Ghana hosts the second highest number of African centers of excellence, as we saw on the map. So kindly permit me to highlight these flagship research centers and their contributions to the country, the region, and the world at large. We can talk about the Africa Center of Excellence for Coastal Resilience at the University of Cape Coast, with a mandate to train young African scientists and professionals capable of developing integrated solutions to address coastal degradation in coastal countries on the continent. We can also mention the West African Center for Water, Irrigation, and Sustainable Agriculture at the University of Development Studies. And this center undertakes cutting-edge research and training in irrigation, drainage, water resources management, sustainable agriculture, climate change, environmental sustainability, and food and nutrition security. I'd also like to mention the Regional Center for Energy and Environmental Sustainability at the University of Energy and Natural Resources. And this center provides quality research and postgraduate training in energy and environmental sustainability. At the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, there are two centers. The Regional Transport Training and Research Center, TREC, and that's a leading hub for advancing applied research knowledge, developing and adapting innovative technologies, and technology transfer in transport, mobility, and integrated logistics. We can also mention KEEP, the KNUST Engineering Education Project, which is to contribute to Ghana and the sub-region's industrial and digital revolution through excellence in engineering, education, and research, and innovation to serve industry and society. All of these centers have contributed significantly to graduate training, particularly at the PhD levels. And they have engaged the communities and industries, created internship opportunities, and also significantly raised additional funding for the work of these centers. There are 3 African Centers of Excellence at the University of Ghana, and I would like to focus a bit on these. We can talk about the West Africa Center for Cell Biology of Infectious Pathogens, which seeks to improve the diagnosis, prevention, and control of tropical diseases in sub-Saharan Africa. Now, what are some of the things that it has done? It successfully sequenced genomes of SARS-CoV-2, that's a COVID-19 virus, and also tracked mutations of the virus, leading to the discovery of new variants in respective host countries and the continent. We're also proud of the establishment of Yamachi Biotechnology, which is funded by Dr. Yaobedi, a WACBIP faculty member. The Flagship company aims to become Africa's biggest cancer biotech company. And also to mention that WACBIP has enrolled 422 students, including 114 females and 93 students from the region. Their publications are out there for all to see, and they have raised over 78 million in additional revenue for the work of the center. Finally, the center also offers for usage by others its scientific technology platforms and high-end equipment, and they do have a few of these. Now to the West Africa Center for Crop Improvement, WACI. WACI trains plant breeders in Africa and is working on the improvement of African crops in local environment for farmers. They have done a lot of training. They have graduated 120 PhDs and a number of master's students. And it is significant to note that these are from 15 African countries. Their faculty members and their students have published over 260 publications in high-impact journals. And the center also established the Kofi Annan Enterprise Hub for Agricultural Innovation. They have developed improved variety, that's high-yielding and pest-resistant variety of crops, including tomatoes, rice, cassava, groundnuts, cowpeas, and maize. We see some of these there on the screen. And these are some of the very hard-working faculty that we have there and the innovative work that they are doing. The last, yes, it's okay to applaud them. Yes. The last center that I would mention is the West African Genetic Medicine Center, WAGMIG. And WAGMIG is dedicated to genetic research, postgraduate training, and community outreach. In 2022, it launched the Ghana Genome Project, which is to engage key traditional leaders and media outlets across the country on a major public education and health screening focused on genetic disorders. And it undertook the first population DNA sequencing project in Ghana and in sub-Saharan Africa. So far, 675 children with sickle cell disease are having their entire genome sequenced. And this, I'm told, is the first of such studies in Africa and among the first in the world. WAGMIG has developed and is offering the first graduate training program in genetic counseling in sub-Saharan Africa, which is internationally accredited. And there's also developed short courses in genomics, which they have already run in Ghana and Nigeria. Now, why is all of this important? Research, as we know, plays a crucial role in development across various sectors of an economy, providing evidence-based insights that informs policies, drive innovation, social change, capacity building, and generally improves the quality of life. Research contributes to global and national development by providing critical insights which fuel economic growth through innovation, helping to create jobs and improve productivity. We know of countries like South Korea, Germany, Singapore, the United States, Brazil, and China, which have leveraged on research to develop their economies. We will not go into all the comparative figures, but just to mention that Africa contributes around 2 to 3% with increasing efforts in health and agriculture research. According to the 2021 UNESCO Science Report, Africa contributes 2.4% of global researchers, 2.6% of global scientific output, 0.45% of GDP is spent on research and development. Honorable ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I believe that it is clear that if you want to contribute significantly to the global agenda on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and perhaps more importantly on the Africa Union's Agenda 2063, then these questions are critical. How much effort does Africa invest in research at the continental, national, and institutional levels? Do we put our money where our mouth lies? Are we using science to build the future we want? So what's the way forward? In order to sustain and scale up the impact of research in addressing regional and global issues, there's the need for partnerships and collaboration, and that's the ACE DNA. No single university, ministry, or country can achieve this transformation alone. Recognizing the global knowledge economy's increasing importance, there is the need for cross-border collaboration involving global institutions and the private sector as well. It's important for us to attract and retain top-tier global researchers. There's a need to create a conducive environment and institute measures that would attract and retain the bright talent being developed on the continent. And I've seen this happen at the University of Ghana with the ACEs, being able to attract people out there in the diaspora because they know that when they come to these centers, they would have the needed resources that they require to work with as scientists. And last, but certainly most important, there is the need for political will, domestic financing, and policy support from African governments to enable the centers of excellence operate at its optimum. And not only that, but to replicate these successful models that we have seen. So, honorable ministers of education and finance across the continent herein gathered, I have an appeal to make. We as Africans must begin to put our money where our mouth lies. With recent developments in the West, it is becoming abundantly clear that we cannot continue to rely on external support. Maybe this is the impetus that we need to make those bold decisions and commit to funding research and innovation on the continent. It is clear that we have the human resource and we need to be able to facilitate their work by putting in the required financial and other resources. We must, as a matter of urgency, plan and make sufficient budgetary allocations. 0.45% of GDP towards research is certainly wholly inadequate. So we must plan and make the sufficient budgetary allocations towards research and innovation to spur the desired growth and development on the continent. As I conclude, I would like to reiterate the need to leverage on the research outcomes of the ACES to address global and continental challenges in areas such as energy, health systems, agriculture, digital development, and other priority sectors. As Vice Chancellor of the leading university in Ghana, I advocate that universities and research institutions must be considered as key players in national and global economies. I end by reiterating the question asked by the 2021 UNESCO Science Report. Are we using science to build the future we want? I believe these few thoughts will set the tone for an even deeper reflection during the subsequent plenary and other sessions as we strive towards a more impactful decade ahead, a decade of boundless opportunities, I believe. Thank you. Nagode. Merci beaucoup, Mesdames et Messieurs.
Please subscribe to Morris TVGH.